All right, we are back with another solo heist moon battleground on Warlock. This time with Matiodoxia. You can see we have Hellion on and Devour, and then we've got Leviathan's Breath. So Matiodoxia, if you don't know, your arcane needles can pierce barrier shields. So I wanted to do a run without any barrier weapons. And then also when we land a melee, we'll get Radiant. So I don't have Overload Grenade Launcher on, so that our Lost Signal can also potentially break a barrier shield if we need it to. So Matiodoxia is really strong and I love it. The other thing it can do, it can actually also suspend enemies. If you throw one needle, it will mark them, and then when they die, they'll emit a suspending burst. But if you throw 3 arcane needles, then it will suspend automatically, which pairs really nicely with Prismatic because we can just spam our melees. And then I have Lost Signal just for that debuff. That debuff is so nice. And then we've got the Arc Jolt Grenades, so we're running the Storm Grenades. So there you can see it pierces, we get Radiant, and then I think we almost, yeah, we 2-shot the Knight because we had Radiant going plus the Weaken, and then we've got Void Surge on, and then Leviathan's Breath is hitting really hard with that Void Surge. So there, that's what I was talking about, how it's really inconsistent. 2 things missing, I think because those Wrathborn things that are sticking out of the ground, the Hive things, they have like a super weird hitbox and you'll just get blanks a lot of the time. If you watch my Chaos Reach run yesterday, there's a time where Deterministic Chaos should have stunned a champion and it just didn't. So yeah, these guys are in a bad spot for me. You don't want them over there because your melees will just blank for whatever reason. So here, again, of course, the Arcane Needle is going to the guy in front. So this is a detriment to this build. If it's really ad heavy, the Nightfall, then you're going to not always hit what you're aiming at, which is obviously the Barrier Knight. It would be cool. So there, I realized I'm probably going to take it out. So I just want to show that again. Just look at the damage here. We get the stun. It's weakened, and then there's Unravel and all that jolt and everything. And then it actually just like falls over dead. So that was pretty wild. So now luckily we have this Barrier Knight. So the Death Tongue Chorister doesn't spawn unless you kill the wizard. But also if that Barrier Knight is still up. I think that's the first Barrier Knight that spawns. So that's the other way that you can delay its spawn, is by leaving one of the Barrier Knights up. But normally I like to leave the wizard up because it's just more consistent and safer. And then, like I said, we also have Hellion. Hellion is an excellent aspect. And yeah, it's just giving us lots of damage over time. And it actually puts in work. So yeah, I really like it with this build. Even though it's not, whatchamacallit, Solar Surge, it's still worth running. So then just look at all that damage over time. And because we're running our Storm Grenades, we have Facet of Dominance on, so our Storm Grenade will apply Jolt, but then also our Void Grenades apply Weaken, which works on our Transcendence Grenade. So we're applying Weaken all the time, which is really strong, even without, whatchamacallit, Lost Signal, Concussive Reload. And then there, again, you can see we basically melted that Knight, that Barrier Knight, in like one Leviathan's Breath shot because we had Radiant going for 25% more damage, the 15% weaken. This is actually a Drain Ogre, so I have to be careful here. And then he's pushing up. This guy is tanky as hell, man. Like, I thought he was going to fall over like 3 different times. So that's why that was just a little sketch. And then here, I'm waiting for the second spawn of enemies, and then I want to cast my Nova Bomb if I can. The only crappy thing is Nova Bomb can like get shot out of the sky. So ideally I want it to hit the Unstoppable Ogre, because I like to take him down first if I can. So we got a nice weaken GL shot on him, but unfortunately we don't get lucky with the Nova Bomb, but the Nova Bomb does take out a shit ton of other enemies. And then here, again, you can see Matiodoxia misses. I was aimed right on it, but those arcane needles just kind of go everywhere. So in other nightfalls, this build would be better because they're not so ad heavy, and you could more reliably hit your arcane needles, I think. But in this one, it's just not the best. But I still wanted to showcase it because I am going to make a build video on this. I soloed a couple. I soloed Fallen Saber and for sure one other Nightfall with Metiodoxia, and I still haven't made a build video on it. So I just wanted to get some updated footage with it. And I'm actually glad I did, because in those other ones, I wasn't having near the hit detection issues. So that's something I can note in my build video, is just, yeah, if it's very ad dense, you're not always going to be able to hit the target and reliably break those shields, which can be a problem for sure if you don't know how to handle barrier knights and kind of how to avoid their attacks. So there, luckily our arcane needle melee hits, and then we're just going to focus as barrier knight. So what's so nice about these, and I actually got pretty low health there, because Leviathan's breath actually shoots in like 2 shots, right? There's the initial shot, and then there's the explosion. So I was expecting my Devour to proc, and then there was that little delay, so my health did get a little bit low. And then yeah, these wizards are pretty tanky. So yeah, what I was going to say is these battlegrounds are so nice because you get the ammo crates. So you can just be like spamming your Leviathan's breath ammo. So yeah, I really love that about Battleground Nightfalls. And then yeah, that Nova Bomb you could see hit that Warmonger Knight really hard. So yeah, Nova Bomb's feeling good as well, especially with Void Surge, obviously. So now we're just gonna head on down. And the other thing, I didn't talk about it, but this build builds Transcendence extremely fast. You got Hellion and then the Jolt and all that. So if you notice, I keep airmailing my Storm Grenades. That's because I had Fastball on. I do like Fastball with Storm Grenades. It's just I forgot I had it on, so I kept missing a few grenades in this run just because I wasn't used to it. And then there, I clipped that thing. So this part of the run was actually pretty ugly. And then this is a Shock Bane. So they can like deal some pretty good damage to you. So you just have to get back and use your range. I popped Transcendence there. And then now we have all our abilities. So yeah, Metiodoxia is just so good on Prismatic. And then here, yeah, we're just going to keep spamming our abilities, because why not? There's the Suspend, once we kill that marked target. And then, yeah, we're also making a bunch of Ionic Traces because of Jolting Feedback, so that just helps feed our abilities even more. So there again, just chuck out a melee. And look, with that ability surge, my melee's already back. Because from 2 to 3, well, 1 to 2... Sorry, so the Arcane Needles, there's 3 charges. So to go from 0 to 1 is your normal melee cooldown, but then it's quicker to go from 1 to 2, and then even quicker to go from 2 to 3. So if you can always keep 1 charge up, then it's going to be quicker. I can't remember when they made that change, but it was probably around when Prismatic dropped, because it wasn't like that when Strand dropped. I do remember them changing that. And so anyways... yeah, I had a heavy brick on the ground there, so I was free to use my Leviathan's breath ammo. And then we're just going to keep going. So yeah, those lurker shields are super annoying, and we have no anti-barrier to like just go through them. So I just use my melee to suspend them. And that works nice. And then the Lost Signal is just so good for damage over time. That and Velocity Baton are like 2 of the best legendaries in the game now. They're Witherhoard, but better. And Witherhoard was always really strong, but now there's really no reason to run it because of these area denial frames. So here, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. The unstops spawn in at 25%, 50%, and 75%. Of course, when I actually have a build that is capable of one-cycling an unstop, because I could just shoot 3 Leviathan's breath ammo and take it out, we don't get the lucky spawn where it spawns at the door that I have line of sight on. So I pre-fire a Lost Signal hoping he's going to come out there, and then I could have got the debuff, but he doesn't. And that unstop never spawns out of there. So we get really unlucky on this run. Because like I said, we can one cycle if we have line of sight and can take out these unstops quickly. So I'm just going to speed this up because it's literally just sitting in here. In all my videos, I get asked how I'm not taking damage from these guys because other people get melted here. That's because you don't want to move your character. You only use your right analog stick or your mouse to look around. You never move with WASD and stuff because then they'll aggro to you. So even there, you could see my arrow was lined up on his arm, but it clips the side of the thing. So there's a bit of weird physics going on in this thing that you just have to get used to by going in there. So what I'm actually doing is waiting for these guys to move. If you don't shoot anything, eventually they rotate. So there you can see the little diamonds, they're moving and rotating. And now look, he's in a good spot. So that's better to do that than to just to try to keep shooting when they're right to your left. So luckily we put in enough damage, and then we even marked them, so that's going to suspend that guy. So we were able to get 2 down really quickly, which is nice. And then yeah, I'm just going to speed this up. So this guy doesn't really move. So we pop Transcendence because we have our Transcendence grenade, and like I said, that's applying Weaken as well. So the Transcendence grenade is pretty good for here. And then I should have whipped it just a little bit sooner. Maybe I could have sucked him in. And then yeah, we're just waiting. So when there's only one, sometimes they won't rotate like that first guy did. So when there's two, like I said, if you wait, they'll rotate to get in your line of sight. But if there's only one, he tends to stay on this side. So we're just going to use the pulse rifle. And then our arcane needle, if we fire one, we're actually able to hit its arm. But if you know the arcane needle animation, it kind of spams them like right hand, left hand, right hand. So when it goes to use the left hand one, it doesn't actually hit. So just something to be aware of. Only fire off like one arcane needle melee there, because you're not going to hit with your other two, which is something I came to learn while doing this run. So now, like I said, I'm just going to speed things up. And at 50%, we're going to get 2 more unstops. Again, I pre-fire lost signal, and he never comes. So I'm just going to wait and hope it rotates. They're kind of bumping into each other there. And then look at this. He rotates to a very nice position. So I proc the arcane needle melee. I'm just going to rewind that. So I proc that, and then I get lost signal. The reason I did it in this order is so that I can get lost signal to debuff the unstop, and then it's also going to kill that enemy, which is going to suspend him. And then I'm also proccing Radiant with that melee, so if I'm quick enough, I'll get a Radiant shot with Leviathan's Breath. So there, we got the Weaken. We've got Radiant. We killed that guy, so now he's getting suspended, even though he doesn't suspend for some reason. He stays low, which is weird. And then there you could see our Leviathan's Breath. We did get the shot with Radiant, and look at that huge chunk. So we get a huge chunk, and then we just need one more shot, and we take him out in one cycle. So that was really good. And like I said, the reason I did that is because I knew I had to take advantage of that one stun, because they like to move around if you're shooting them. And then there, Leviathan's Breath actually had a big enough AoE. I'm just going to rewind that as well. So I'm making sure I hit my shot because I don't want to run out of Leviathan's Breath ammo while I'm in here. So I make sure I hit my shot. And then yeah, he just happens to get stunned. It's actually probably not Leviathan's Breath. He was marked. So it could have been that suspending burst again. So maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, unfortunately, now he's in a bad spot. He was rotating around, but yeah, that's just the way it goes. You just have to be patient in this spot. This is not what you do if you're trying to speed run. This is if you're trying to get safe clears. If you're trying to speed run, it's much quicker to stay outside of here. So then here again, we're going to use our pulse rifle to stun him. So we apply Weaken first. And then there, you can see we actually did hit our melee because the angle is fine for that first arcane needle throw. And then I just went back to dealing damage with the pulse. And the pulse actually does decent damage. Because of jolting feedback, we're able to apply jolt. And that's like a pretty big damage buff, honestly. So here he's in a good spot again. We chuck the nade. We get the weaken. We spam all our melees because I have Transcendence. And then I don't really need my melee right away. But like I said, we can then pop Transcendence to get all 3 of our melee abilities back if need be. If we're just trying to speed stuff up a little bit. So here, I'm just getting that ability surge with the Savathun's worm hunger thing, where if you deal arc damage, then you get that ability surge. So that, look at my melees now. My melees are almost fully recharged thanks to that ability surge. And then there, again, we proc the ability surge. He's in a decent spot. I throw my grenade a little high, and then my melee goes into the crate. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. He's weakened and in a good spot. So there, I should have known it wasn't going to hit. But anyway, I'm trying to expend my Leviathan's breath ammo there to get the kill. But 2 of the things just clipped aside. So not a big deal, just a bit of a time loss. And then he comes where we need him to. We stun him with our pulse rifle, throw the nade, get the weaken on, throw the melee, easy cleanup, and we're done with this section. So we still have 5 shots of Lost Signal, 4 of Leviathan's Breath, and tons of ammo on the ground, but we're just going to go pick up the crate because that fills everything up. Leviathan's Breath now holds 16, and I think it works with the reserve mods now, where before it was always capped at 15, but they did that inventory rework after they changed reserve mods and how you can't put them on to rally, but then keep the extra reserves. So they kind of gave everything more reserves. So yeah, Leviathan's Breath benefited from that, which is nice. And yeah, when it's Void Surge, this thing is cooking, honestly. So there, I don't have enough mobility to get up there on a Warlock, which is fine. I never spec into mobility on Warlock. We check out a melee. And then throw our Nova Bomb. We're going to get the thing. Just speeding this up. So we chuck out our Jolt Grenade. Again, I'm not totally used to where they go with Fastball. Then I'm putting down a Rift just to be safe. And then I proc Devour by killing that guy. Again, just to be safe. Then we kind of outrun their shots. So here, this is bad because they're all shooting at me. And those projectiles, look, I don't know if you noticed that. But right there, I clipped that projectile, and so it doesn't hit the Hive rune. You have to be perfect here to get this in 2 runes, and because of those projectiles, I don't. So what would have been smart is probably rotating to the right or left and getting a different angle so that their projectiles weren't going there. So yeah, right here, I know I'm screwed because I'm like, I think you need like 37 per rune. So anyways, because I hit those projectiles, I wasn't able to do it. So I literally just sit here and we're going to wait. But I'm actually glad this happened because this shows off Metaiodoxia really well and the issues it can have. So again, these goddamn projectiles block my Storm Grenade. But we have Jolt from Jolting Feedback, so we're just going to go in with that. Again, we've got Hellion doing a bunch of work. Look at it go on that Unstop. I think we proc an Ignition eventually. So yeah, it's doing really nice, and we're just spamming our abilities. And now here, look at this. How did that not stun? And then this one, not stunning. Why is it not stunning? The game has been so fucking glitchy, and obviously they laid off a bunch of QA, so like, I know they're just understaffed, but it's very, very frustrating. So anyways, I can't proc my Arc Hunger. So I've got no anti-barrier without my melee. That's what gives me Radiant. And that's what stuns with Metaiodoxia. So there, again, how the hell is that not hitting? I don't understand. So yeah, this was really frustrating, this part. And I don't totally know what's going on with it. But yeah, something to be aware of. So like I said, I'm kind of glad this happened because it allowed me to get one-on-one to show kind of the downside of Metaiodoxia. So I think it's this hitbox of this crate, honestly. So if I go back, I chuck out my melee here. No, I don't. Where did I throw my melee? Right here. So I don't know why it's not hitting, but it's got to be something with this. So it just goes into the ether. But then we get an angle where this thing is not in our direct path. And then we're able to get the stun. Thank goodness. And then I realize, oh shit, I'm actually going to have to take this thing out quickly. So I didn't want to use Leviathan's breath ammo on him, but I had to because we have to get him in one stun there. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going through that same BS. And he's going to have to be standing in the perfect spot for our arcane needle to hit. So yeah, the reason I didn't want to use it is because we didn't hit all the Hive runes, we weren't able to get an ammo crate. But we're still looking really good on ammo. So here, we're going to weaken the boss, chuck out a storm grenade for those guys, throw the arcane needle, and then throw my Nova Bomb. So he's unraveled from that arcane needle, and then yeah, the Nova Bomb hits him. So we put in good damage off the start there, and then we're just going to take out all these in-rushing enemies. So not doing the cheese with this build. Prismatic can basically more than handle them. I don't have a machine gun, but again, not really needed because we have all this jolt. We've got jolting feedback. We've got our jolt grenades. We've got arcane needles, which can suspend the in-rushing enemies. So yeah, just lots of things that can handle all this. But yeah, you want to... That was a little stupid. I overextended. You want to deal with all the ads first, because you can see there's lots of them. And then that's when you go in on the boss. So I should have shot Lost Signal first to weaken the boss. But yeah, so what I want to do here is get the boss weakened with Lost Signal. Mountaintop would be really nice here as well. So there, we hit that. Now we proc Radiant. No, he moved. But we would have procced Radiant, and then we would have went in with Leviathan's Breath. So the reason you do that is for ammo economy. You're making the most of every single one of your Leviathan's Breath shots by doing that. Because it's 15% weaken and 25% bonus from Radiant. And like when the boss is just up by himself, it's very easy to do that and just take your time. So yeah, that's one thing with like ammo management is kind of doing those optimizations, especially as a solo player. So here, I'm just trying to get the rest of these raiders down. There's quite a few of them. I could be popping Transcendence, not really sure why I'm not, because there's enough guys up. Here I do. I guess I was waiting to be out of abilities. So now we're just going to spam all our stuff. Finally, one of our Arcane Needle melees hits. We get Radiant going. Some Suspend stuff. Chucking out our Weaken Grenade because of Facet of Dominance. Then it goes into the Freeze. And just like that, we've pretty much dealt with all of them. Until this guy, of course. I hate how they do this, man. Their frickin' immunity bullshit. It's so annoying. So now I've wasted my Arcane Needles because of that little asshole. So now, again, my Leviathan's Breath is not going to be optimal because I don't have Radiant. Which, it's not the end of the world, but it is just kind of annoying. So now that all those enemies are down, I'm going to get to a good position. I know I saw a heavy brick up here, so I'm going to grab it. Unfortunately, you only get one ammo from a finder brick without Void Scav on. And then, so I'm going to leave that other brick up because I don't know how many I get from a full brick, but it's probably going to be more than 2. So we quickly get the Weaken, and then we chuck out our Nova Bomb. And then we retreat. And now we're just going to get our Arc Hunger filled up. Now we have Ability Surge, pop a Rift, start chucking abilities again, and then putting in damage with our Pulse Rifle. And just like that, our Transcendence is built back up. And the reason that's important is because, like I said, it just gives you your abilities like crazy. And we're trying to do as much damage with Leviathan's Breath as we can. So there, we chuck out the Lost Signal. Again, not every enemy was down, but it's okay. We're going to take advantage of our Radiant. You can only get 2 shots off. I wasn't totally like paying attention. I was just trying to put in as much damage as I could as quickly as I could. But yeah, so if you wanted to be perfectly optimal, you get the weaken, you throw the radiant melee, and then you do 2 shots of Leviathan's breath, and then you melee again. So it's not a DPS strategy, because DPS with Leviathan's breath, you want to just keep hitting crits and never stop, because as soon as you stop, you lose that archer's tempo. But this is a total damage strategy, because the boss is very tanky. So there, again, weakened, throw radiant. And then I put in 2 shots, and then I actually stop, not for the reason that I was just talking about, but because I actually just want to go get... There's a brick that the boss was standing on, and I wanted to get that before the unstop spawn in. So there, I got 5. So before I was at 14 ammo, so I would have only got 2 ammo from that brick if I had picked it up when I was near it. So that's why I kept it there, made note that it was there, and then went and picked it up right before a critical juncture in the boss fight. This is one of the easiest parts of the strike to die, because the unstops spawn in, but they're not a huge issue, but it spawns in with a ton of enemies and these scorn guys. So the scorn guys are the bigger issue, because they can rotate on you. So there, we got the freeze and weaken grenade on them. And then we chucked out our Radiant. And again, in just 2 shots, Leviathan's Breath takes that guy out. Plus, I think the other Unstop was beside him. And so he was taking that splash damage that Leviathan's Breath does. So when I go to stun him again, the other Unstop, he's actually very low. So that was like perfect textbook play. Save your Transcendence for that part. And then... like I said, I had gotten ammo in case I needed it for whatever reason. But there, we easily handle that next unstop. And just like that, the Scorn guys are moving around. So you take out one of them, and then there's only 2. And then there'll only ever be 2. But if you take them out, there's always going to be 2. So if you keep taking them out, they just keep respawning. But at 3, you can kill 1. So I had killed that guy just to get rid of him, but then his battery was still up in time for me to go pick up, so we get an easy dunk. And then now we're just taking out all the enemies that spawn in every time you dunk the battery. So each time you dunk a battery, you get a spawn of all these raiders and stuff. So you just have to deal with them. And then we've got 2 shock chieftains, which is kind of annoying. And we still have a red bar just on the other side of this. And then, of course, he's going immune, and we've got this totem up. So yeah, the chieftains were being, like, extra annoying and, like, pretty aggressive on this one. I don't know if they're more aggressive when they're, like, Shockbane or what, but they just seemed to be a little more aggressive. So anyway, there, we take that guy out. And now I'm just waiting for this guy. So now he's low. What I should be doing there is rushing up. I can do a finisher and then go dunk his thing. Unfortunately, that boss actually hit me. Normally, when he's charging up like that, I'm just going to go back. So normally when he's charging up, if he doesn't see you, he's not going to fire. So I thought I was safe to go there because I was behind cover, but he actually hits me. So then I have to duck to recover my health a little bit. And then this guy was literally just there. And then just completely disappears. So again, just TPing ads. So I didn't want to leave for no reason. I left because that guy was there and I was going to go kill him. And then he just TPs on me. So that's extremely annoying. But again, more just a time loss than anything. But yeah, just something annoying that can happen. So now both of them are pushing me, which is kind of unfortunate. And then we're just going to use our movement here. So we go around. And then I'm just kind of moving in a bit of a zigzag pattern. And he misses me. So, little risky, but I kind of know how to move thanks to Armin GT. He's got a very good video on Destiny movement. It's improved my play more than any video in Destiny I've ever seen. Definitely check it out. It's excellent. I should just start linking it in the description of all my videos because it's pretty much critical information if you want to be a good player. But because I know how to move, I knew that I could kind of just kite that Scorn guy around and be safe. Obviously, he could have hit me because Destiny's never 100% predictable. But I felt confident doing that maneuver. So then anyways, we take out this guy. Trying to pick up the thing. It was being a bit difficult. Go dunk, and we're at 3 out of 5. You can still dupe these balls, but I've never learned how to do it, so that's why I'm not duping them. That jolt grenade, again, so excellent for taking enemies out quickly. And right there, I want to point something out. So look, I have armor charge. And watch this. I hit those crits, and now that guy's blinded. That is retinal burn on the artifact. It's actually very, very strong. Because, yeah, that blinds them, and then you're able to just deal with them super, super easily. I'm amplified, so I should be sprinting for that thing, but I'm a little wary of this guy. And I know there's another enemy up, but if you didn't know, you actually get damage resist while sprinting when you have speed booster going. So that's, again, why I felt pretty much confident. And then the way those void projectiles move, I was just kind of running at a certain angle that I knew enough wouldn't hit me where I could dunk that. And then that guy rotated around behind me, so I just went to a different area of the map here. And then there we got a Hellion on. So I threw that rift just to be safe because, like I said, I knew that guy was up. That one red bar. It's kind of easy to outrun and outmaneuver those Scorn guys. Because they really only have the shotgun, so if you can like get a bit of distance, you're fine on them. But that Raider is what I was worried about, and I was worried about him rotating. That's why I threw down that rift. And now we have our rift back already, and we still have our Hellion going. We dunk our last one, and then we're going to go to a spot that I'm going to do damage from. So this was a little risky, just because the longer you're running there, that boss can hit you as you're running to this spot. But once you're in this spot, you should be generally safe. So now you can take out those Scorn guys because the batteries are dunked. So now I don't believe they'll spawn. Pretty sure anyways. So then again, we pop Transcendence because this is one of the most dangerous parts of the fight with all these guys that want to come attack you. And yeah, we take them out super, super easily. We had the Metaidoxia Arcane Needles going. And then we get our Wombo combo with the Weaken and the Radiant. So again, I should be slowing down, but I just don't really care. I'm using the Weaken. But I should have thrown a Nova Bomb, because I could have been getting a ton of super energy while putting in damage with Leviathan's Breath and then taking out all these other enemies that are going to be spawning. So that was my bad. I should have chucked that Nova Bomb while the boss was there, but sometimes a Scorn crossbow can hit your Nova Bomb, so it can be a little risky. But when there was no enemies on the field, I even could have ran up closer to do it. So that was a thing where I just missed out on some easy damage. So now we've got the Weaken, we got the Radiant, we put in our shots, we run out of Radiant, but I'm still shooting. Because I do know that I have... and there, again, I could have chucked a Nova Bomb. The one time you don't want to chuck a Nova Bomb is when there's enemies up, like I do here, because sometimes it will track to the enemies. But luckily, it tracked to the boss. And yeah, now what I should be doing is popping Transcendence. Yep, there we go. So we're just going to kind of clean up these ads. But as long as I just get a few more shots in on the boss, it's game over. So yeah, Leviathan's Breath. That's why I kind of wanted to do this run, because I wanted to see how good Leviathan's Breath was performing. And it is excellent. You can see it's absolutely chunking the boss. And yeah, we get tons of prismatic or transcendence. Yeah, the abilities of this build is what does the ad clear. Like those jolt grenades, you saw I was pretty much taking out like all those enemy ad waves very, very quickly because of jolt. So Facet of Defiance, well worth running in this case. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I do just want to go back and show one thing. So here's pretty much where we kind of start doing damage. So we're at 34 minutes. So basically 2 minutes, we got this boss dead. And again, that's just watch Leviathan's Breath chunk this guy. And again, I wasn't even chucking my Nova Bombs as I should have been. I could have got at least one more Nova Bomb in on this boss if I was playing things correctly. But again, I'm not perfect. I was just kind of going with what the game was giving me. We take out all those enemies. But yeah, this is a very quick melt for a solo clear. Obviously, it's no Consecration Slam Titan, but like nothing really compares to that. But as far as like just overall damage from a weapon, Leviathan's Breath with Void Surge is absolutely cooking. So like I said, that's why I wanted to run this build so that I could test it. But I needed something with good anti-barrier because I didn't want to give up the weaken from GLs that you get. But yeah, like I said, absolutely chunking that boss. And that's the other thing. So back to here, this guy likes to go immune and run away. So that's actually, now that I think about it, that is why I wasn't going fully optimal with the Arcane Needle melee every 2 shots. Because what I want to do is actually keep him stun locked. So yeah, Polaris Lance was also really good for keeping this guy stun locked. So that's keeping him in one position. And I probably could have if I kept shooting. But I wanted to take out those ads before they spawned in. And then you could see he kind of moved. Then we get the Nova Bomb on. And then huge chunk of damage there. Like massive chunk. Pretty much all my Nova Bomb hit him there. So that was awesome. But yeah, anyway. Now that is it for the video. Sorry that I skip around sometimes on you guys. But I just like to talk about certain things. And yeah, anyways. Give Leviathan's Breath a shot in some unstoppable, or in some GMs that have unstoppables, because it's feeling really, really good. But yeah, if you enjoyed and found it informative, then a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. I know I haven't done many Titan or Hunter runs, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. There's lots of things I want to test on Warlock. So that's what I've been testing. I will definitely have a Hunter and Titan run of Birthplace of the Vile next week. Obviously, there's the new act and all that other stuff. So I'm not sure when exactly, but I would like to do the triple glaives on my Hunter. And then I've got a fun little surprise for you guys on Titan for a build that's going to be really good. So those will be the first 2 I do. And then I don't even know if I'm doing a Warlock one. But like I said, they kind of just worked out that I was really feeling Warlock for this strike this week. And so that's what I was going with. But trust me, I'm not going to neglect all the classes for too long. It's just kind of this week. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Take care.